Shalom. I want to start off by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight and teach this thing of ours in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Manatazak with GMS Ancient of Days in Los Angeles, currently teaching with the Akim in Sherman Oaks. And today, through the Spirit, I want to get into a lesson that's titled Mystery of the Gentiles. Okay, now if for those of you that have been paying attention to what's going on across this Hebrew Israelite movement, if you will, you're starting to see that the group known as Genesis, which is led by Priest Sakai and Brother Hassad, formerly of the Sakari, okay, they went and started their own group. But as you can see, the doctrines that they are teaching aren't set on a sure foundation. Okay, and what I mean by that is we are literally seeing these men wax worse and worse as the doctrine and the breakdowns that they once knew and taught in truth and sincerity are beginning to be obviously and blatantly perverted. Okay, they're starting to teach now that all Gentiles or non-Israelites will have salvation, which isn't true. Okay, salvation is exclusive to the Israelites. Okay, and you can check out the lesson I did before this that went into that particular topic. But what I want to do now, you can look at this lesson as a spiritual part 2. Is going to the mystery of the Gentiles to better break down the understanding of what that word actually means. Okay, because when you go into the mystery of the Gentiles, it refers not to other nations, but to Israelites who became Gentiles by identity, culture, and law breaking. Okay, so when we talk about Gentiles, there's the Israelites that took on heathen customs, and there's the nations that are outside of Israel that are natural heathens, if you will. Okay, so when you go into the word origin or the etymology of the word Gentile, which just goes to show you the importance of getting the full understanding of what you're reading. This is why the apostles and elders tell us to go into the etymology of words and go into the root words, because you're not going to understand the scriptures and get its full context and its full meaning if you don't break these words down. Okay, so when you go into the word origin or the etymology of the word Gentile, okay, you'll basically find out that this is the key to unlocking this whole mystery. Okay, now the word Gentile or the Latin gentalis, okay, by definition means of the same clan or of the same tribe. Okay, so that's what the original definition meant. All right, and it was later translated or defined as non-Roman, and then most recently non-Jew. Okay, so when you go into the etymology of the word Gentile, the earliest meaning does not mean any race other than Israel. Okay, it means a person living as part of another nation's culture. Okay, not one's ethnicity. Okay, so an Israelite living like a Greek was called a Gentile. All right, and this matters because the New Testament was written in Greek. Okay, and the Greek word used, okay, in the New Testament, once again, when you go to the etymology of the word, is ethnos. Okay, and the definition of that is a nation, people, group, or culture. Okay, not a biological race. So a Jew living as a Greek, okay, was an ethnos, a Gentile. All right, this is exactly what happened historically under Greek and Roman rule when you go into the history. Okay, and that alone further highlights the importance and the validity of the Apocrypha, which chronicles the Israelites under Greek captivity. But we'll get into that later in the lesson through the Spirit. But I have a couple bullet points written down, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect, and you're able to understand and differentiate the different meanings of Gentile, which, in all honesty, it's very easy. Whenever you see Gentile in the scriptures, and it alludes to or speaks to salvation, then you should automatically know that that's pertaining to the Israelites. Okay, but prophecy states, right? Prophecy states that Israel will become Gentiles. Okay, so before we even get to the New Testament, Yahweh Shai said Israel would lose their identity and become not a people. Okay, so we're going to begin in the book of Hosea, which in the Hebrew, Hosea's name, Hawashai, means deliverer. Okay, we're going to begin in the book of Hosea, chapter 1. And I'm just going to get to the point. I'm going to begin at verses 8, and I'm going to read to 10. This is going into the account of Hosea marrying a prostitute. And this is basically symbolic for how the Lord was going to turn his back on Israel, but eventually come back and save them. Roughly paraphrasing when you go into the history. But this is Hosea chapter 1, verse 8. It says, And when she had weaned Lo-Ruhamah, she conceived and bare a son. Then said the Most High, Call his name Lo-Ami, for ye are not my people, and I will not be your power. Okay? So when you go into Hosea 1 and 8, Lo-Ruhamah, in the Hebrew, that's La'ah Kasad, which means no mercy. La'ah, no, Kasad, mercy. Okay, and Lo-Ami is La'ah Amya, which is not my people. La'ah, okay, is no or not, and Amya is people. The Yah making it, my people, not my people. So this goes to show that the Most High was using symbolism, okay, with the birth of these children. But when you read verse 10, it brings it all together. It says, Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, Ye are not my people, there it should be said unto them, Ye are the sons of the living power. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together and appoint themselves one head, and they shall come out of the land, for great shall be the day of Jezreel. Okay, and Jezreel in the Lashon Kodash is Yazra'ala, which translates as the seed of the power. Okay, the seed of the power. All right, so this is speaking exclusively about the Israelites. Okay, once again being delivered and raised up. Okay, and this is the place where it's happening here in America, where we're casting off our what we were known as our heathen identities, if you will, those proverbs and bywords that came upon us, and we're putting back on, our true culture and our true history. Okay, the two sticks coming together, the two tribes coming back together. Okay, we are once again calling ourselves by our biblical names, the 12 tribes. So when I say us, I'm speaking about you so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans, because we are the true Israelites according to the scriptures. Okay, we are coming out of our curses, and our curses are coming upon our enemies. But one of those main curses was the falling away that happened for our disobedience. Okay, so Israel would be rejected and lose their identity. Okay, called not my people, identical to how the Gentiles were viewed, because the Lord Yahweh Shai has only ever claimed one nation to himself. Okay, and that's all throughout the scripture. Let's get Hosea 8 and 8. And it reads, Israel is swallowed up. Now shall they be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. Okay, so Israel would literally become among and as the Gentiles. All right, and this is the prophecy right here. Okay, this is the prophecy the New Testament is fulfilling. Okay, whenever the New Testament speaks of Gentiles receiving salvation, as I mentioned earlier, it is speaking about these Israelites. Okay, those that were swallowed up amongst the Gentiles and took on their customs. Okay, and became so engrossed with these other nations that they basically forgot, their own culture and their own heritage. This is a curse. You have to remember. Okay, this is nothing to be proud of. Okay, and in the Apocrypha, okay, proves that the Israelites became Gentiles. Okay, I mentioned the importance of the Apocrypha. The book of Maccabees is very pivotal in understanding the Greek captivity and how we became Hellenized. Let's get First Maccabees 1, beginning at verse 41. And it reads, "Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah that they should follow the strange laws of the land and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts, that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all matter of uncleanliness and profanation." It says to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. So this goes to show you how far these heathen went in keeping us from our power. Okay? In making us take part in their wicked, paganized customs that defiled us. Okay? And kept us further away from our power. Yahweh Shema Shai. This is what continues on today with these different false religions and doctrines, these different holidays, okay, that go back to pagan worship and Queen of Heaven worship and child sacrifice, but it's doctored up and sprinkled and repackaged to make it look like something appealing to family and kids. This is the bizarre world that we live in, the world of the heathen. Okay, and this is basically where the mass Israelite Gentilization, if you will, begins. Okay, let's stay in First Maccabees. I want to go back to First Maccabees 1. I'm going to begin at verse 11. It says, "In those days went throughout Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow. So this device pleased them well. Then certain of the people were forward herein, that they went to the king, who gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen. Whereupon they built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen, and made themselves uncircumcised, and forsook the holy covenant, and joined themselves to the heathen, and were sold to do mischief." And this just goes to show the temperament of our people, how easy it is to sell out and join onto the heathen when we were given something so much better. Okay, our people were meant to be set apart and separate from these nations, to be the example on how to rightfully serve the one true living power, Yahweh Shema Shai. But instead, we were reading here how they made themselves uncircumcised. You know how defiling that is? To uncircumcise yourself? Okay? That's wicked, man. Just to appear and appease your oppressors. So here we're reading how Israelites adopted heathen identity, even reversing circumcision, okay, so that they could appear Greek. Okay? These Israelites were now visually, culturally, legally, and socially Gentiles. Okay, and by the time of the Apostle Paul, okay, these Israelite Greeks had lived as Gentiles for over 300 years. Just to put into perspective how long we were offset from our true heritage. Once again, which goes to show you the importance of the Apocrypha in us during that Greek captivity where we were Hellenized. Okay? Now, the beauty of this gospel is that Yahweh Shai himself defines the Gentiles he came for. Okay? And we can read that in the book of John, chapter 7, verse 35. This is John 7:35. It says, "Then said the Jews among themselves, Whither will he go? that we shall not find him? Will he go unto the dispersed amongst the Gentiles and teach the Gentiles? Okay. And this is an important statement, okay, because Yahushua was expected to go teach Israelites living as Greek Gentiles. Okay. This is an undisputed verse showing that the Israelites, okay, were those same Greeks, those same Gentiles in New Testament context. Okay, because people oftentimes like to pit the Old Testament against the New Testament, when in fact they work and conjoin together. Even Apostle Paul, okay, his writings are the biggest proof. Okay, Paul is known as what? The main apostle sent to the Gentiles. Okay, but which Gentiles? Okay, let's find out. Book of Romans, chapter 9. Let's see. Romans 9, and we'll begin at verse 24. It says, even us, whom he had called, not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles, was the question. And you go into verse 25, the headline reads, the calling of the Gentiles. Okay. And we'll read a couple of verses. It says, as he said also in Osee, I will call them my people, which were not my people, and her beloved, which was not beloved. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. Now, where did we read that at? Okay. This is what we opened up our lesson with. Apostle Paul is directly quoting Hosea, who was speaking only about Israel. Therefore, Apostle Paul's Gentiles equals the lost Israelites. Okay? That should be plain and simple to be understood. This is why we go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. The prophets all spoke and believed the same thing, and we are continuing that tradition here in Great Millstone today. Okay, teaching the 100% truth. Let's get 1 Corinthians 12 and 2. It says, ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away onto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. Okay, you were Gentiles, not you are Gentiles. You were Gentiles, not you are Gentiles, meaning Israelites who formerly lived as heathens. Okay, natural Gentiles or actual heathens were always Gentiles. They can't stop being Gentiles. Only Israelites can become Gentiles and then return. Okay, I will say that once again. Only Israelites can become Gentiles and then return, which goes to show the importance of repentance, which when you go into the etymology, that means to turn back. To turn back to what? Turn back, repent, turn back, okay, to the law, statutes, and commandments that were given to us to keep us separated from these heathen nations. Okay? It should all be coming together now through the Spirit. Let's get Romans 11 and 25. Our next precept. Romans 11 and 25, it says, for I would not, brethren, that ye should be ignorant of this mystery, lest ye should be wise in your own conceits, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. Now, what does this mean? Okay, Apostle Paul calls the Gentiles a subset of Israel experiencing blindness. Okay, that's what it means. So this has nothing to do with the other nations. Okay, in terms of salvation, in terms of being on par with the Israelites, they've had their chance to rule, and we've seen what they've done with it. Psalms the 83rd chapter tells you, okay, about the enemies of the nation of Israel. Okay, Israel, yes, has enemies. This should be no secret, no surprise, and they've had their chance to rule. Okay, let's get Galatians 3, beginning at verse 13. Our next precept. Galatians 3. Let's see. Bear with me. this goes to show the beauty of going precept upon precept, line upon line, the different Israelites in their captivities, breaking these scriptures down the correct way. It's beautiful because it all flows together, because they were all teaching, preaching, and believing the same thing in their doctrine after never changed through all these different captivities. Okay, so why would we be further moving the goalpost? Here it is, the fourth quarter. We're at the end of the world, the end of all things. And when I say end of the world, I mean the end of Esau's rulership, the end of our captivity. And you mean to tell me that we don't have the 100% truth? That there's new things, new breakdowns, and new understandings happening at the last minute? We're on the verge of being delivered. Okay, everything has been revealed unto the true servants, the prophets. Okay, let's get Galatians 3, beginning at verse 13. It says, Hamashiach hath redeemed us from the curse of the law, being made a curse for us. For it is written, cursed is everyone that hangeth on a tree, that the blessing of Abraham might come on the Gentiles through Yahushua Mashiach, that we might receive the promise of the Spirit through faith. Okay? It says, brethren, I speak after the manner of men, though it be but a man's covenant, yet if it be confirmed, no man disannulleth or addeth thereunto. Okay? So no heathen can be added to the covenant that was given to the Israelites. Okay, and the proof of that is the curse of the law. The curse of the law only applies to Israel. Because when you go to Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, it tells you about the blessings and the curses that would befall the nation of Israel for keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, so therefore, the Gentiles receiving the promises equal the Israelites under the curses. Okay, let's get Ephesians 2. Ephesians chapter 2, I'll get the point. Ephesians 2, 11 and 12. When you go to Ephesians, the 11th chapter, Ephesians chapter 2, the headline above verse 11 reads, uniting Jews and non-Jews. Okay, and this is going into Israelites and Israelites that are in a Gentile state of mind. Okay, to put it simply. It says, wherefore remember that ye being in time past, Gentiles in the flesh, who are called uncircumcision by that which is called the circumcision in the flesh made by hands, that at that time ye were without Hamashiach, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of the promise, having no hope and without the Most High in the world. Okay, remember the covenants were only given to the Israelites. Okay, that's very important to remember and establish when you're reading this. Okay, because the curse of the law only applied to Israel. Okay, and Gentiles in the flesh, okay, means Gentiles by behavior. It says, yet now fellow citizens means Israelites returning. Okay, natural Gentiles were never citizens of Israel, so they can't return. Okay, once again, which goes back into repentance. Turn back to the law, statutes, and commandments. The law, statutes, and commandments were only given to the Israelites. Okay, and Yahushua himself was sent to the lost sheep. Okay, it's crazy that we even have to go through this, but we are set up as defenders for the gospel. And as these seducing spirits wax worse and worse, okay, we are here to reinforce the truth. Okay, so that those that were with the eyes to see and the ears to hear can continue to stand on a sure foundation. And it's apropos, we're going to end it on Matthew chapter 15, okay, because this is going into Yahushua and his mission. Because when he returns, he's only returning to deliver and bring salvation to the elect of his nation. This is Matthew chapter 15, verse 24. It says, but he answered and said, this is red letter, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And this is going to the account where he's speaking to the Canaanite woman who, through the Spirit, was an Israelite foreigner. Okay, his mission was to Israel only. Okay, and Apostle Paul teaches the same gospel Yahushua taught. So the Gentiles, Okay, and all Apostle Paul's letters, okay, are clearly Israelites. Okay, and the Lord is going to manifest that fact soon come when Yahushua cracks those clouds and only Israelites are delivered. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying to the hopeful elect. I want to give all glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. And peace and salutations to the hopeful elect who are continuing to fight and teach this thing of ours in truth and sincerity. This has been your brother Manatazak. Until the next lesson, Shalom.